So if you're excited for Captain Marvel, and I have no doubt many of you are, especially if you're watching this, unless you're those people that are just watching it because you hate it, who knows? Anyway, you should be glad to find out that the Supreme Intelligence will be in Captain Marvel and have a role that's probably a little bit more significant than we know, so let's talk about this. So the Supreme Intelligence in the comics, from what I remember, and I might be a little bit off because it's been a while since I've read anything with the Supreme Intelligence, was an ancient Kree-based creation with the greatest minds of the Kree Empire. And they were specifically put together to be able to kind of push the Kree Empire towards this big dominance. And things unfold in a rather interesting way. Well, as we recently learned, the actual Captain Marvel movie, specifically dealing with the Kree, is going to touch upon this. So in what way, I'm not entirely sure what they could be doing, but it's interesting to see that they're going to put this in here, considering, the Supreme Intelligence is a rather interesting character. I believe in the comics also went by Supremo. I could be confused that with someone else. I'm pretty sure it was Supremo. Anyway, looking at the character, it's a giant head with like tentacles. I'm pretty sure that that's not what it's going to look like. As a matter of fact, my theory is that it's the room with all the electric beams and everything that they're going to kind of be downloaded into a hive mind. So I'll put that up on the screen somewhere and you guys can see what I'm talking about. That's my theory, that this is the Supreme Intelligence. This is how they communicate with it. And honestly, this would make a lot of sense to me because we don't want a giant floating green head in a tub. None of that, so this would make sense. And this would be another way to kind of establish the early parts of the MCU. Like, if you remember in Guardians, they established way back in history about the Stones and the Celestials. And we know that the Eternals is coming, and that's going to deal with the history of the Marvel universe as a whole, right? So another way to kind of drop those hints in there would be to explain that the Supreme Intelligence was there from the beginning. It helped create some pretty big weapons in the Marvel universe. It was involved with a lot of back history, and here's how it is in Captain Marvel now and what it's doing. So it makes a lot of sense to me to include it, and maybe even have it in some sort of way connected to the Star Force, maybe manipulating them. Maybe it's trying to tap into Captain Marvel's powers. We don't really know, but it would make it an interesting villain of sorts to be able to use it like that.